It is time for us now to, well, get some history into your ears. And we always like to do that with one man, and that is Harold Peacock from History Out There. How are you, mate?
Very well, thanks, Damo. Yeah, we must remember today is Remembrance Day. So
Exactly.
I'm very well, but thinking of those that came before us.
Now, of course, Remembrance Day was initially called Armistice Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And that's what I want to take a look at today, about the very first Armistice Day anniversary across the Darling Downs in 1919. So, yeah, it's changed a bit, including by the name.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, over to you as you take us back to 1919.
Yeah, and look, I guess Remembrance Day, it has the memorable numbers of 11, 11, 11, which of course means the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, when the armistice came into effect to stop the fighting in the First World War. And in fact, just on a side, there's also other memorable numbers to do with the war, such as what triggered the war, the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand on the 28th of June 1914, and then the signing of the peace treaty on the 29th of June 1919. But what some people don't realise is that there were actually a number of armistices signed, and they were signed in all sorts of places, and so there's lots of armistice days.
Right.
But the Bulgarian armistice was signed at Army headquarters in Greece and came into effect on the 30th of September 1918.
Right.
The Turkish armistice, which, the Australian troops are facing them, that was signed on board a ship in the Aegean Sea and took effect on the 31st of October. Then the Austria-Hungary armistice, that was signed in an Italian villa and became effective on the 4th of November. And the German armistice was signed in a railroad carriage in France and took effect on the 11th of November 1918. And that's the big one that we're remembering today. Now, in the First World War, it's quite sobering, 60,000 Australians were killed, and that's around 300,000 as a percentage of the population today. So when the first anniversary of the armistice came around, you could totally understand that Australia was still so weary from the war. And so commemorations took different forms and different sizes. Now, the one common factor was the King's request to suspend all activities at 11 a.m. for 2 minutes, hence the 2-minute silence. Now, in Warwick, the first anniversary was observed as a public holiday. There was a parade marshalled by Mr. Thomas Cook, the Warwick bank manager and Stanthorpe postmaster. There was also an official dinner, which caused quite a scandal. That's because the catering for the Warwick dinner was given to a Toowoomba firm. Now, the committee secretary, Mr. John Porter, he was a Warwick accountant and secretary of the Warwick Turf Club. He poured water on the controversy by explaining that only one tender was received. So Warwick calmed down, Toowoomba had to do it on that occasion. And then in Toowoomba, Alderman Thomas Burstay, he was the 3-time mayor of Toowoomba, he arranged for the city's fire bell to be rung at exactly 11 o'clock as a reminder for everyone and everything. There's a traffic, factories, machinery, everything to remain silent for 2 minutes. And there was also a celebration dinner at the town hall that night. Now, for Dalby, a successful armistice celebration for the whole district took place at Bell. And there were about 500 people that attended from Dalby, Gillenbum, Square Top, Jandowie and elsewhere. That's when the local Returned Soldiers and Sailors Imperial League, that was the name of the RSL back then, they held their first athletics and race meeting at the racecourse. Mr. Colin Campbell, who was the best athlete in the district and later the captain of the Dalby Lifesaving Club, he won the Blue Ribbon Professional Bell Handicap, run over 100 yards. In Pittsworth, the anniversary was celebrated by a musical, dancing and movie night. And it went off actually quite well, despite being organised just the day before. It was arranged by Mr. Jacob Bickerton, who was a gold miner, grocer, and the Pittsworth Shire chairman. Then in Stanthorpe, the local Returned Services League organised a big fete for Armistice Day to raise funds to build a Soldiers Club. And in Gundawindi, there were no celebrations at all. However, That night, Mr. Walter Parrish, the secretary of the local branch of Returned Soldiers and Services Bureau League, he organised a social dance. Now, during the war, Mr. Parrish was Private Parrish, who enlisted at 18 years of age. He served with the Camel Transport Corps and rose to the rank of Quartermaster Sergeant as just a really young fella. And he served again in the Second World War. And so, Damo, I reckon that's the best part. What happened out at Gundawindi? Because Parrish typified the Australian spirit. Nothing was arranged, so he just did it himself.
Well, there you go. And that's how it all began.
And right across the Darling Downs, they all did it differently, but they all did it.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Well, of course, we can read this story, can't we?
That's right. You can find history out there on all the socials. That's Instagram and Facebook and so on. And you can go to my website. I'll be posting this on Friday. That's historyouthere.com.
All right, historyouthere.com. And, mate, always a great story. And always, I know you put a lot of thought into it to try and work through special commemorative days like today as well. So I appreciate it.
Yes, and I'll be there standing silence at 11 o'clock on the 11th.
There you go. We all will, and we'll have a special thing on the Super Radio Network as well, acknowledging the Remembrance Day today. Appreciate it, mate, and we'll have a look at that story when it goes up on Friday.
Fantastic. See you next week.